Ba-dum-tsh.
That's a Dark Fiend. We only have Light Fiends in our
True,
Fiendsmith decks.
true.
Well, not this one. This is a
I believe that's a
Yubel
Fiendsmith
deck.
Yubel, yeah.
Oh, so it looks like Ruben did change his strategy from that World's Qualifying Point playoff. Yubel with, the combination of the two lists
Was one of the least restricted.
definitely was. So we're going to see how Ruben is going to navigate this strategy here. He is going to start with a Fiendsmith track. A little bit stronger to start with track in the TCG because they do have something like Necroquip Princess, but we're going to see how he's going to be able to adapt not having that Necroquip Princess access here.
Yeah, we did mention how it is restricted the least, but it still does have those restrictions, not necessarily from the actual Forbidden Limited list, but because there are TCG exclusives that were so powerful to the strategy, those are not going to be allowed here in this tournament. So we'll see how Ruben has adapted probably to combos that they were initially trying before they found out those cards existed.
We'll have to certainly see. Yeah, no access to Aerial Eater is going to be tough here for Ruben, but he is going to summon the Engraver from the graveyard, it looks like, and then normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast, trying to add opening of the Spirit Gates from the deck to the hand, potentially.
I have no response.
That's going to get hit with an Infinite Impermanence. Dark Beckoning Beast is negated.
Yeah, Imperm on the Beckoning Beast is good. You won't get that additional normal summon if he does have something to summon, but he already has the Engraver on the field, so he has the two monsters. He will be able to access that extra deck, whether it's going to be Sequence. Yep, looks like Fiendsmith Sequence.
Yeah, talking about Sequence, I like how the sequence of this plays were made, putting the Engraver on the field, setting it up, but there is an Ash Blossom for the Phantasme here.
A lot of going on here with the main deck Phantasme, as well as being met with Ash Blossom.
These duelists
is a card drawing effect.
These duelists are leaving everything on the line here. The Phantasme is going to remain in hand thanks to that Ash Blossom negating the effect, as Jerome mentioned. And now Sequence is going to be looking to activate its effect. But another copy of a card that can stop Ruben here, an Effect Veiler.
That's 3 cards out of Jose's hand at this point, but there are still plenty of plays available for Ruben. We're now activating the Engraver. Looks like he put back the Fabled Lurry into the deck, putting the Engraver back onto the field.
Oh, I might have missed out the first Engraver. Oh, the first Engraver came from the Requiem.
Yeah.
Yep, that's my bad.
Now we're going to be activating the effective track to fuse with his field. He's going to be using the Engraver as well as Sequence. Going to be still likely make... It looks like that. Yeah, that is Fiendsmith Lacrima.
Effective Lacrima, targeting Engraver.
So now he could either add back Engraver or special summon Engraver back to the field. Since he's already used Fiendsmith's Tract, I would imagine it will come to the field, and here it is.
Special summon, or activate to special summon.
It looks like we're using the Grave Squirmer here now because he does have a Fiend on the field. This is great now because, well, we'll see. He is going to overlay these 2 level 6 monsters into Beatrice, the Eternal Lady. Detaching the Fiendsmith Engraver. I think I know what he's going to send here. He's going to try to bridge his way into the Yubel part of his strategy.
Wasn't in the top 75%. Let's check the rest.
There is a Spirit of Yubel.
Spirit of Yubel is a really cool one.
For Muckraker.
So, yep, looks like he is going to link summon for Muckraker.
And then on the summon, I'm going to go effect.
That's going to be able to special summon
Lacrima.
back a Fiend, but first he's going to use Lacrima's effect to put back Sequence.
Never want to forget that.
Puts you at 68 cards in hand.
So 3 cards in hand. We know that one of them is Phantasme.
We talked about Phantasme previously to this tournament, just how powerful that card is when it is good enough to be at least main deck. But it is a huge problem when it is met with something like Ash Blossom, because not only is it not a card that you got to play to fix your hand, it is now stuck in your hand until the next turn. Oh, it looks like we're going to be immediately shuffling back those 2 as material to fusion summon Phantom of Yubel.
Phantom of Yubel is a really cool one. Can change any monster effect to destroy Yubel from the deck by tributing the Phantom of Yubel off the field. But now he's going to use Gruesome Grave Squirmer's effect from the graveyard to special summon back Spirit of Yubel. On summon, Spirit of Yubel can add a card that mentions Yubel from the deck to the hand.
This appears that he doesn't have any more cards in hand, so this is a really crucial point in the turn. And it goes through.
Yeah, Jose, looked like he had considered using some form of interruption there.
Better not be a monster effect, though, because that Phantom of Yubel is going to change it.
Maybe that's exactly what he wants.
Ruben's going to activate Nightmare Pain, going to look to destroy Spirit of Yubel. So the effect to add a card that mentions Yubel once per turn, but when Spirit of Yubel is destroyed, can special summon Yubel from the deck. That's not once per turn.
This is it's a Yubel from anywhere, right?
Oh yeah, it could be anywhere. Usually from the deck on turn 1.
Mm-hmm. Matters a lot in the later turns when everything has already been exhausted.
And he does have. Oh, no, yeah, we didn't know that. It is another point of interaction from the hand, an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. But it is, as you, Jerome mentioned, a monster effect.
What a crazy hand from Jose here going second. Infinite Impermanence, Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, and Phantasme.
It's an interesting choice here on whether or not to modify the effect of it here. So he is going to chain Phantom, and
So resolve. What? I have to destroy from my deck first. Resolve Phantom.
Oh, it looks like he was going
And then
to...
resolve Nightmare Pain.
Yeah, Nightmare Pain was going to destroy the Muckraker.
This.
Interesting. Well, now, yeah, he can destroy. He destroyed Spirit Yubel from the deck with the Phantom Yubel.
I wonder what the aim of this particular sequence was. He was never going to get it so that he couldn't destroy with Nightmare Pain. Like, that wasn't going to be the case.
Maybe he just
But
wants
maybe
the
it's to keep
Phantom
material
off the
off?
field?
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
I go
to
Spirit
protect
Effect in
his-
the graveyard.
At the moment, there are no interruptions of directly available,
Yeah.
but I guess you can always make another Phantom.
Yep. See where he goes next. He is Fiend locked thanks to that Muckraker effect being used. Yep.
Did he actually even use the Muckraker's effect? I think he just destroyed it with Nightmare Pain. So,
Pretty sure he used it to summon back something, but maybe not.
Link Summon.
Oh, but so he could link summon here for Unchained Soul of Yama, or
looks like he's attempting to go back into... Oh,
might have just grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah, I
going
just
to
grabbed the
Yama
wrong one.
here.
Well, you could hear him say Yama,
Mhm.
so that's what was coming out no matter what. As the rule on intent for play is whatever you say trumps whatever you do. That's part of why it's important to declare your summons properly and say what you're summoning first, because that determines the materials, etc.
Good to know.
These two back.
And then the Yama's going to let him add the Unchained Soul Shavara. Now he's going to be putting back a couple of materials to summon another copy of Phantom of Yubel. Ruben really showing why he brought Yubel here, the strategy, being able to play through
Sorry,
so many
thinking.
points of disruption from Jose's hand and still making a formidable board here.
We've been trying to figure out where he can go from here. Here's a couple options, right? Is a question of whether or not he's going to be able to keep that Phantom Yubel on the field, but it looks like he's going to be able to link them away. It's going to be that Unchained Soul of Rage because of the Unchained Soul of Yama's material.
Activate. Target.
The Shavara is going to target the Rage, which is going to leave him locked onto the Fiends while the Shavara is on the
I'm
field.
gonna
But the
go
Rage, when it's destroyed, is going to be able to add back
Yama
any
one.
Fiend, and the
I'm gonna go
Yama
Solar
will be able to
Rage.
trigger to special summon a Fiend from the
Target.
graveyard.
Phantom.
Looks like Rage is going to try to shuffle back the Phantom so that he has more of those available in the following turns.
It's a question of how many of them you play. Everybody plays at least two, but some also have a third one hiding in their extra deck.
Yeah, I imagine the extra deck is very restrictive. There's so many powerful options that you could choose from. It's really hard to fit in the third one, and it makes a lot of sense that you had to
And then I'm gonna
give it away
pop
right
this
now.
with the Yama.
And it looks like
I
he's
don't
going to be
think it's
using
smart.
the optional part of Yama's secondary effect. When it special summons from the grave, it doesn't have to, but it can also destroy a monster on the field, so he's going to destroy his own Shavara so that Shavara can set that...
No, I returned it to my extra deck using the Solar Rage. I special summoned Muckraker back with the Yama. And then I destroyed my Shavara during Resolution, and then I triggered Shavara to set a trap.
Couldn't set it better myself.
I'm gonna go effect the Muckraker.
No, you're right. He did not use the effective Muckraker
Effective
just quite yet,
Muckraker.
but he was always planning on using it later on. This is incredible here from
Yeah.
Ruben. Like, this is, he hasn't had to really think about it. He's been in this position before. He knows where to go next. This is some excellent play from one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, we talk about players that put in the effort and really shows their passion. Like, every single move was calculated here.
Losing that Phantasme seems like it's really hurt Jose here.
Yeah, especially, I mean, there's still going to be an option to potentially use it on the following turn as long as Rage activates its effect. But there still is a Phantom of Yubel now to interact with that as well. But I mean,
I'll pass turn.
if it has to interact with the Phantasme, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's trading one for one. It just depends on how impactful the Rage is going to be.
This is a tough position for Jose to be in. He's going to have to try and find something,
I believe he has...
break the board.
Does he have 3 cards in hand at this point?
There's
Yep.
3 cards now. We know about Phantasme.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Nice.
there's the tract.
Starting off the same way Ruben did with his turn, Fiendsmith Tract. Can let him add a Light Fiend. Fabled Lure is usually the go-to.
Let's see if he discards anything else. Probably wouldn't.
Thinking.
prompts a thought here from Ruben. Does he want to use the Phantom of Yubel here? Nope, lets it resolve.
I wouldn't imagine you would, right?
No.
Nothing that's really threatening at this point. If you're going to try to deal with any of the resources that Jose is going to put on the field later, you want to really maximize the value of hitting those cards that have a little bit more recursion value. The lure itself is not posing that much of a threat.
Makes a lot of sense.
I'll go ahead and make some.
And there's multiple choices here for it, too. Like, it wasn't just the Phantom. It could also have been eaten by the Unchained Soul.
Very true.
If you couldn't tell, these two are actually some of the best of friends. They are just this tense right now.
It's a pretty looking quarter-century Secret Rare Fiendsmith Engraver.
Thinking here.
Now he's going to equip the Requiem to Engraver.
Yeah, now you're kind of
Go
forced to do
Solar
something.
Rage effect targeting.
Otherwise, the Engraver is going to get its value trying to go after one of the opponent's monsters. But it looks like we're going to be activating the Soul of Rage, targeting the Engraver to potentially link away with it.
So this is going to give Jose a chance to use that Phantasme. Ruben might use the Phantom Yubel on the Phantasme as well, but we'll have to see how it's going to play out. So here are the pieces being taken.
Any triggers as turn player.
Now, there's something to note. The rules from the TCG to the World Championship are a little bit different with certain cards.
That's you cannot.
Um,
Yeah, but trigger effects would trigger first. So I
Yeah,
would
so
get a
this
chance
is
to
exactly
trigger
where I was
effect
going with that.
before optional.
Some of those hand effects are treated more like quick effects as opposed to trigger effects.
Well, in any case, this is Ruben's correct here that he would get to play his visible trigger effects first.
Okay.
So it's visible,
Yeah.
it's mandatory first, then visible, then hidden. But here at the World Championship,
So I'll
hidden
go
trigger
Little Knight,
effects
chain
are
link
played
one,
as quick
target.
effects.
Exactly.
Looks like the Little Knight is going to be going after the Engraver here.
That's a lot of shiny cards in the graveyard.
Thinking.
All right, will Ruben choose to use the Phantom Yubel to block this Phantasme?
And Yubel.
It does seem like he will. This, I mean, the Little Knight was already protected with the effect of Nightmare Pain, but now it's just, extra protected because it's going to put a potential Yubel on the field.
Now that Little Knight is banishing a card from the graveyard, yes?
Yes, it's going after the Fiendsmith Engraver.
And then I'll go effect of Spirit of Yubel.
Spirit Yubel, when it's destroyed, it's going to trigger to special summon.
Jose asking about the time. Might be considering conceding here. He only has one playable card left in his hand.
Potentially playable, at least. No guarantees.
Potentially playable, yes. I'm maybe a little optimistic.
Well, and if it uses an effect, the Little Knight could just zap it off the field immediately.
It's a tough spot for sure. Enter battle phase? Enter battle phase? No, he would have done that way earlier.
Was they really just shuffling the decks here at this point? Not sure if all those cards are going to go right back in right now. Come on, man.
It shouldn't be. I'm assuming there's a draw effect being played, otherwise he wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably has to be.
Triple Tactics Talent, maybe? I don't know. Nope.
Oh, no, just passing back. I guess that also makes sense.
Thinking here.
He could use that trap card, set off the Shrivara at this point.
During the end phase.
I believe it was an Abominable Chamber.
Yep. Yeah, it's chambered. Going to be able to revive any Unchained.
That card doesn't target, correct?
Does not.
Yeah, something from hand as well.
You fan out your grave.
Notably, that's why it doesn't target, because
Yeah.
you can't target a card in hand.
Reminiscent of Red Eyes Darkness Metal.
Yep, it's the very same effect.
I'm gonna go to Swarm.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, we were talking about maybe playable.
A Bestial Jerusalem is the last card, unknown card from Jose's hand.
I mean, yeah, if he goes after the Rage, he still gets to summon the Shrivara, though. Yep, and it hits the field.
It's field in defense mode, where I believe it has 2,000.
Yeah, I believe it's
Hold on.
25 too.
Stand by. Main phase one.
All right, can you deal with the Phantasme the third time?
I'll go Engraver effect. Targeting Requiem.
Right, the Engraver is going to potentially demand answers here.
5 monsters on the board here from Ruben. Only a Druid Storm in defense mode here from Jose, and we know the last card in his hand is the Fantastical Dragon Phantasme that has just been stuck there this entire game.
Wave hacking Caesar.
And that will, that'll deal with the Phantasme just fine.
Yep, and Jose has seen enough. He's number 2. Unfortunately, they do have to face each other early in the tournament, but it is Swiss round, so they'll have more rounds to play after this as well.
Going to be leading with the Divine Temple here. Not necessarily ideal, because you usually get that for free, but it can help insulate your plays.
It's notable in that it's a way to get something out of your deck onto the field that doesn't meet the condition for Droll and Lockbird, which is another card that you might see a lot of in formats like this.
Yep, it's always good to be able to play around anything that you might expect for sure. And now he's going to use Diabell Star Black Witch, sending that pop part of the graveyard to special summon from the hand.
Just switch.
Maybe getting a lot of good value here. Opting to not use the Ghost
Mourner and Moonlit Chill coming down. It's going to negate the effect of the Black Witch.
I mean, that is the most effective target for it, right?
It is. It even
but
does
this
the
makes
most
sense.
damage, too.
Chain Veiler. Target. Oak.
Oh.
So Ghost Spell and Oak.
Ruben has an answer.
It's a fair trade right after game 1.
This is what it's all about. I love the interaction.
Not going to be able to use Oak's effect here as well because it was something that negates the entire effect of Oak, so he will not be able to access his deck with the other effect, at least for now, until he's able to reset it.
Yeah, negating the monster's effect for the rest of the turn, great against the Snake Eye cards, as opposed to just negating the first half of the effect, and they'd still be able to use the second one.
This is a bit of a tough situation because the inclination is, okay, I need to pivot into something else here, but also I'm going to take a big chunk of damage if I do that.
I don't think he's that worried about that. He still has 2 monsters on the field, and we saw what 2 monsters can do at this point. Sometimes you just have to take the damage to, you know, get the remainder of your field.
But you still take the damage.
Well, it looks like he has something to extend. Oh, well, it's going to be a Pot of Prosperity.
Prosperity, okay.
That's not a card you see a lot of times.
Yeah, that's pretty
with Snake
rare.
Eye.
And it's limited in this event as well.
I mean, if it's limited, it's got to be good.
Not the worst logic I've ever heard.
I mean, if you think about it this
It
way, if
usually
there's
goes in
only
that other fire deck, though.
yeah, if there's only 1 Pot of Prosperity in your deck, that means you can't get another Pot of Prosperity revealed off the top 6. It's as consistent as it can be.
Exactly. So he looks like he is going for 6, I believe.
It's Flamberge. Oh, it's Droll and Lockbird. Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh,
Lullaby.
Ah.
Lullaby Obedience is a really cool card. We've seen it at the World Championships in the past.
What are you going to use that for against?
He's-
Oh, you use it for the Fiendsmith.
Yeah, it has to be.
Engraver's fine on the field or in the hand. But it looked like he grabbed Bonfire there.
Which is a little interesting.
Sure.
I guess you can go for Poplar still, which is actually really strong here because you actually haven't used any of its effects now that I realized.
Yeah.
That's right. And now Hoplar is on the field. Going to add one of those other cards that we saw off the top 6, the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye.
And
What
this is-
cards did Jose have to give up out of his extra deck? 6 cards out of the Fiendsmith Snake Eye extra deck? That's a lot.
It is
Yeah,
a lot.
that is. I didn't like. I guess we'll find out.
I'm gonna link summon.
Like-
Yep, some Moon Impulse.
Like, generally, I can only think of 3 that I would be willing to give up in any given situation.
I'm gonna go Poplar.
So he does link summon Moon of the Close Heaven, leaving the Black Witch on the field, avoiding taking the damage if he can. And the Poplar is going to place the Snake Eye Oak into the Spell and Trap Zone.
I wonder if maybe he has a greater plan for that particular Diabell Star.
I don't mind leaving it just on my field, because during your opponent's turn, if it does leave the field, you can send
bring
a
it
card
back,
to
right?
special summon it back to the field.
We
Yeah.
rarely see that effect a lot of the times, but sometimes it'll just pop up on Master Duel.
I was
and
literally
you'll catch somebody with it, and they'll just scoop immediately.
I was
afterwards.
about to use words out of my mouth. I was saying it doesn't come up too much in the TCG, but in Master Duel for some reason, it seems to happen more frequently.
Yep.
Might be that insect or something that causes that.
Another card that had a similar effect was Eluber.
Oh,
The effect to bring back Eluber when a fusion goes away.
Yes.
that is definitely something a lot of people overlook with the Eluber when you're clearing all those fusions off the field, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
it comes back and negates your monster effect. Like, oh no, where did that come from? But okay, Fiendsmith's sequence is going to shuffle back a couple of light fiend monsters to summon Fiendsmith's Lacrima.
Yeah, he did have to take that 2,500 from linking away the Diabell Star.
So Lacrima gives you the choice here. You can either add that back to hand or special summon it. If you special summon it, you get a rank 6. If you add it back to hand, you can potentially discard it later to get the Spell and Trap adding effect, or use it from hand as a fusion material later on with Track's Graveyard effect.
Okay, so he does add it back, and he used Track. Oh no, that was last game.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
Track.
last game.
Okay, I was like,
So we haven't seen the Track yet.
I thought maybe he sided in Fiendsmith in Paradise. I would have loved to see that. That's one of my favorite traps.
I wonder, like, if you haven't used the hand effect, if there's ever a reason to not grab it back. Maybe just to play around a potential Ash Blossom that would be saved for this juncture in the play, but I don't even think that would be that
if
bad.
you specifically need the rank 6 to stop something.
Yeah.
Like if you had to make Wave King for some reason.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to be using the Tract here, getting the Lurry, discarding the Lurry. Lurry's going to be able to hit the field off of its own effect when it's discarded.
I think he needed a third Fiend, right? To get to Desiree here.
He does.
Because he had to shuffle back the rest.
Does indeed. Now we're going to see Link Summon for IP Masquerena.
I'm gonna burn for 12.
Using Lacrima's
That's
effect here,
68,
shuffling back
55.
the Lurry. Making up for some of that difference here after taking the 25 of his own. And then he's going to be able to link away the IP Masquerena as well as the Fiendsmith sequence into a Appaloosa Boa the Goddess with 2 uses.
All right, so now Engraver makes it back onto the field through its own effect this time.
IP in sequence.
So that Appaloosa was made with an IP Masquerena. It's just something to keep in mind, just in case.
And now finally going to be activating that original that was added off the Poplar many sequences ago.
And he sends Sequence to the graveyard.
I also want to say sequence, so sequence. Just kidding. But it looks like Snake Eye Ash is going to make an appearance.
So you're not using a split?
Thinking.
I was saying maybe skipping the Snake Eye Ash effect.
I don't even think he has like many targets left in his deck, right? I mean, we'll find out.
I already
Oh.
did the Poplars.
I think it's the third Poplar.
Is it the third Poplar?
Yeah, I think that's all of them. There are a lot of Poplars going around
Yeah.
here.
I mean, I feel like if he's playing Pot of Prosperity to help the consistency, playing 3 Poplars is not a bad idea.
This is that efficiency I talk about from the TCG. Trying to get them, like, trying to just make sure you can do that, especially with these one-card combo kind of scenarios. You just want to find the one card.
Sure.
Language effect.
Sure.
Moon of the Closed Heaven makes another appearance.
The
Flamebird is going to summon back a couple of Snake Eye monsters.
Just a few. Now we're going to be linking away. Looks like the Oak and the Closed Heaven will be going into that Promethean Princess. Princess is going to be activating its effect, summoning back the Flamebird's Dragon.
The summon. Nightmare
Say-
Phoenix. Sure.
And we're linking away the Poplar and the Princess into the Nightmare Phoenix while being a fire that is required.
And it's co-linked with the Appaloosa, so you won't be able to destroy the Appaloosa by battle. Nice little bonus there.
It is a strong field to being hit with 2 interruptions. Both these players really strong at playing their decks. They know what they have to do. They've hit with these kind of restrictions before.
And then pass
Able to make nearly a full field through... Oh, well,
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
he has the Nibiru.
Hold on, but we still have Appaloosa there on the field.
Oh, I mean, he had so many things to pair with it. He didn't expect him to be able to get this far.
Yeah, like if you still had that effect failure there to force it through, that'd be huge.
I mean, Ruben probably making the decision in testing. You don't really want to allow them to get that far ahead. They can usually play through anything anyway.
Ooh, and then he has different dimension ground.
Activate.
Yeah, it has a little bit more utility with, you know, cards like Beatrice around finding ways to be able to use it. With Angel of Blue Tears is something, a strategy we've seen a lot of people use at the NAWCQ.
Yeah, the Engraver not going to be that impactful after the different dimension ground. You're already losing its value by not being able to hit the graveyard. The Tract not going to be able to add anything of value either. But we're going to be activating it anyway. At least the Tract has to go to the graveyard.
You're good. I'm
Yep, that's a good point. The different dimension ground is only monsters, not as
Thank you.
as strong, I guess, as Dimension Shifter.
But it also doesn't have
Sorry.
the weaknesses
Thank you,
of Dimension Shifter either.
Yeah, you're able to draw it and just use it no matter how many cards are in either player's graveyards for sure.
It looks like he will be discarding that Nibiru that he was known as locked in his hand. We are normal summoning.
I do like DD Worry Later still kind of gets to make it an appearance at the World Championship this
Right.
many years later, even if it's just in the artwork of the card.
You can always print more cards with the artwork in there.
Summon Requiem.
I'll have to reach out to Pegasus and see what he can do for us. So, Requiem coming to the field, going to the
That's
banish
going to get
zone.
stopped. Like, I don't think that's resolving.
He does only have the one Appaloosa negate since he forced out the Nibiru, but Ruben only has one other card in hand besides Nibiru, the Primal Being.
Yep, and now using the Flame Burge here just to get ready, right? I imagine the Flame Burge as well as... Oh, well, that is a powerful
That
card.
changes
Okay,
things.
this is so we're talking about the rule changes. Triple Tactics Talent versus IP Masquerena kind of works a little bit differently. So that if he does use IP Masquerena to summon a monster with an effect that triggers on summon, and Ruben takes it, Ruben will be the one to be able to use that effect here this weekend.
Yeah, that's how it works on Master Duel.
Yep.
So Master Duel follows the same rule set for the World Championship.
I feel like that means that Jose has to just let it happen. He just let him take whatever he wants.
It looks
Nightmare Phoenix.
so he's going to take Nightmare Phoenix.
I mean, his normal summon's already been used. He's still under like different dimension ground.
That's interesting placement for the Nightmare Phoenix. One thing I would think about there is putting it so it's co-linked to the Appaloosa still,
Attempt to leave the main phase.
and see if you can maybe create an avenue to just deal a ton of damage through one indestructible.
I think Nightmare
Appaloosa.
Phoenix only protects your monsters from being
Is it only
destroyed.
your
Yeah.
monsters?
But we do see IP Masquerena being used now. Jose does know that Ruben has Nibiru, the Primal Being, in his hand, so he's leaving that Flame Burge on the field, not wanting to summon too many times.
It was discarded for the effect of Fiendsmith Tract.
Oh,
So there
okay.
could be another one. I think he just wants to preserve his own Flame Burge because he doesn't want it to be banished.
I don't
off
think it was
different-
discarded. Oh, no. Fist bumps before, saying good luck. Great sportsmanship between the players.
Ooh, I do see some powerful cards here. Let's see how this game takes off. Ruben entering his main phase here.
Activate.
Activating opening the Spirit Gates.
Starting with opening of the Spirit Gates.
One of the strongest cards in the Yubel strategy.
And
Yep.
it's going to resolve successfully.
Not only gives you access to Dark Beckoning Beast, which can get you Chaos Summoning Beast potentially, gives you more monsters onto the field.
Resolution.
It has the effect to where you can discard a special and back a Fiend with 0/0 stat line.
Honestly, the first effect, even though that's generally the main effect of this card, feels like an afterthought with this one. It's being able to summon that monster back from the graveyard.
Now we know that Jose is playing Draw and Lockbird. We saw it off the top of the deck with Pot of Prosperity last turn. So that's something you really got to watch out for with the Yubel deck, because if you get hit by it at the wrong point, you could be in for some pain.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Droll and Lockbird because when it's good, it's really good. But it looks like he is going to use Effect Veiler here, hoping Ruben doesn't have another way to extend onto the field from the hand.
Oh,
Nightmare
he's got
Throne!
Nightmare Throne!
You can't really ask for a better hand of this.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, that is a 1-2 punch there. Nightmare Throne and opening the Spirit Gates. Nightmare
Just
Throne's
look at
going to let
that.
him destroy Spirit Yubel from the deck right away.
Did you know that that's a Fiend monster with 0/0 attack?
Indeed, I did. Indeed, I did. But now it looks like no response to Spirit Yubel summoning from the deck.
Anything on summon.
The Yubel has hit the field here.
As strong as Nightmare Throne is, like most of the time we've been watching feature matches for Yubel, like in the past few tournaments, they almost never draw Nightmare Throne. So to have to see in your opening hand going first game 3, huge here for Ruben.
Yeah,
I was
Spirit
going to
Gate
say
plus
something.
Throne.
Yeah, like-
So good. And a Link summon here
There's
for
a Phantasme one more time.
Jose, not short of those card interactions from hand,
Oh,
but no Ash Blossom this time. The
he's hitting.
Phantasme is going to touch down.
This time, it will resolve. It will not have its effect changed. And
It'll
Jose
be-
gets to draw 2 cards. 1 for the Link monster plus 1. And he'll have to send 1 back.
Potentially drawing into some more interactions from the hands that will be useful here.
Also lets you put back cards that you need to get out of your deck later.
Very true.
Jose was
I believe
really...
that's the Quarter Century Secret Rare Phantasme
Looks like to me.
out of Rarity Collection 2.
I may go back in my deck, sorry. We don't need to randomize mine.
Yeah, because that is the alternative art for it.
Anything in open game state?
So Yama did add Unchained Soul of Shavara.
There's a drone lock.
Oh, and he did have it.
Or he drew it off the Phantasme potentially.
I have no response.
Is it too late? Is it too little too late for the draw, or will it be enough to hold off Ruben's advances here?
Phantom of Yubel shuffling back.
Yeah, this puts him in a bit of a position here. Obviously, you want to summon the Phantom of Yubel. Just make sure you insulate yourself from any more monster effects from Jose, and you still have access. Oh, powerful discard!
The discard!
I'll go Spirit 1, Lurie 2.
We've seen 3 interruptions from Jose already,
Spirit
and it
one?
just doesn't feel like they're going to do nearly
No,
enough.
no Spirit, right?
Spirit can still set.
Oh, that's right. He does set from the deck as well. I forgot. Yeah.
The Nightmare Pain doesn't really have a whole lot of value at this point, but just being able to put it on the field is
Why not?
usually good enough. It does have a relevant effect besides the effect that you activate.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to overlook. Being able to force your opponent into the battle phase where they must attack you, Bell.
So that is both the destruction effect used and the on-summon effect used. I'd love to see it if Jose could figure out a way to attack on his opponent's own first turn, but I don't think we're going to see the other effect, the Spirit of Yubel.
I'll use the effect of Requiem.
Requiem is going to be able to activate and resolve here. Special summoning Fiendsmith Engraver.
I'll go effective Requiem targeting Graver.
Oh, and this is probably powerful here. He's going to be able to potentially force out the Phantasme
I'll go
and maybe get a
effective
card
Engraver.
out of Jose's hand.
Target.
Yeah, depending on his hand, he might just let it go, but if there's something he doesn't really need in his hand, he could just send it to the graveyard.
Yep, it's going to be getting rid of the Engraver. This will likely mean that... Oh, yeah, well, no, he's just going to let it happen. He doesn't feel the need to use the Phantom of Yubel here. Ruben deciding he did not need that body for any part of his play. He's going to be linking away with the Spirit of Yubel as well as the Unchained Soul Lord Ayama
Soul Rage.
into Unchained Soul of Rage.
Good here.
The Phantom Yubel protecting Ruben from monster effects.
Activate Shavar. Target.
We see that same play we saw in game number 1 with Shavar is going to destroy the Soul of Rage. The Soul of Rage is going to add something back from the graveyard, and the Yama can summon back
Okay, on chain links here.
the Soul of Rage
I will be going.
and potentially take out the Shavara if he doesn't want to be locked into Fiends.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to need the body for anything at this point. I think if he can, threaten another level 6 body, it would be worth keeping it around.
Sorry. I'm gonna go effect Solar Rage targeting Spirit, and then I'm gonna go effect of Yama.
Yeah, this all seems really powerful here. Be adding the Spirit back so you have it along
Go
with
ahead and link
the
summon
Nightmare Pain.
for sequence.
And Spirit Yubel has that in-hand effect as well, reminiscent of Spirit of Neos.
I'll use the
There
effect.
has a little bit of protection if your opponent tries to attack
Set.
you. So good to add that one back for Soul of Rage to be used later on. Gonna set Abominable.
Do I know what this is?
It is a Nightmare Pain.
Yeah, that was set this turn, so it's still fair game to ask.
Ruben refusing to flip it up. Just leaving it set for the remainder.
I'll go effective sequence.
Does Jose have something to stop sequence? Nope. Looks like it's going to resolve, be able to shuffle back materials. Think about Fiendsmith Sequence. It can summon any fusion monster, so keep that in mind. Stuff like the new Infernoid Evil is a really cool one I like to summon off sequence.
Target.
Got to use Fiends, though, right?
Or Fiends, yeah.
Linking here.
Not just, I mean not just Fiendsmith fusions, yes.
So now the Lacrima has used its effect to summon back the Engraver, 2 level 6 bodies on the field if he so chooses, but also plenty of link material depending. A lot of options in the extra deck with these kind of bodies on the field.
I'm gonna link summon for SP Little Knight.
Looks like we're going to prioritize getting rid of that Phantasme right now. Now, remind me, have we used the effective Engraver to special summon itself from the graveyard yet?
I think so, but no, we will have to see. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. It's been a long turn.
Engraver.
Nope, looks
Nope,
like
yeah,
not yet.
I didn't think so, because
Yeah, I was going to say, he still needs a second level 6, so I assume he's holding it back for that.
the only interesting thing about this, because you have used...
Oh! Now the Phantom's still there. Jose's going to need something to deal with that Phantom.
He only has one more card in his hand.
I mean,
Let's up to activate Phantom. Should be for cost.
what could you? Like, there's no card that can interact with Phantom there, right?
Nope, doesn't
You would
look
have to
like it.
use Infinite Impermanence prior.
Yeah, you would have.
Active Yubel.
This at least forces Ruben to make another one.
Sorry, tell me. 4 minutes.
Time is winding down. Jose only sitting on an Nibiru and one other card.
Oh, and there's the Nightmare Pain. Finally flipped. These 2 level 6s are going to be used for an Xyz summon here. It is the Wave King High Caesar.
Is this Yubel going to have to destroy the Little Knight during the end phase?
No, shuffle back.
Or is it just going to destroy itself?
Summon
Oh,
Phantom.
okay. Yeah, you know, that's a much more reasonable choice.
I'm gonna pass my turn after I randomize my deck.
Interesting decision to go for Caesar here.
So
Looks like
Caesar,
Ruben's
Phantom,
wanting to
Little Knight.
win, you know, legitimately.
You can detach for Caesar, and that's fine. Like, but
True.
I think there's like also plenty of time, and there's enough to worry about.
Nibiru and an unknown.
I think it's
He's
one
got
of the things.
essentially 4 disruptions to 3 cards here. Is
And one of the
goal.
cards being Nibiru, too. Yep.
Okay, he's just conceding.